Hi, Raighne Delaney again. We're here back for part 3 of my series about equity. And in this version, we're going to talk about what equity will not do. So if you think about it this way, equity courts or equity cases, the court is trying to perform justice, not injustice. So equity's rules will then figure out a way in which justice rather than injustice is created. So the first concept is that there is no wrong without a remedy. Meaning, if something bad happened to you, the equity court is going to fashion a remedy to fix it. Let's take this concept a step further. So no trust will fail for want of a trustee. Now, what does that mean? So if you die and leave money to something and you establish a trust in order to carry out your intention, what if you don't appoint a trustee? So in this case, the equity court will go ahead and appoint a trustee for you. So a great example of this occurred, I think it was back in the 1920s in South Carolina, when a physician died and he left his estate to basically fund an African American hospital. Well, his heirs objected. They thought they had a better way to spend his money after he died. And their point was, well, he didn't appoint a trustee over this trust, and therefore it should fail. And the court said, no, that's not the way it works. I'm going to go ahead and appoint a trustee for you. Now, just so you don't think that we can escape history's judgment, the final example is equity will not perfect an imperfect gift. And in this case, out of Virginia from the 1840s, a man decided to move out of Virginia, and he decided to leave his slave, a guy named Abel, back in Virginia. And we don't know exactly why he did this, but one could assume that Abel had ties in the community, perhaps a wife and kid. So this man moves to Indiana, and he leaves his slave Abel in Virginia. He tells the person he's lending the slave to, if I should not come back to Virginia, I should like you to have my slave. Well, he dies, and then his heirs basically demand that Abel now travel out to Indiana. The person who was borrowing Abel said, no, he gave him to me. And the court said, no, that's an imperfect gift. You didn't actually give Abel to him. You said you'd like him to have him, and therefore that doesn't count. So Abel, unfortunately, had to pack up and move to Indiana. So that tells you, what you need to know about the ins and outs of equity. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me. But as you can see, equity, while it started to help the hapless crusader, now applies in all manner of cases.